Welcome back to the channel, everybody. I am Mick Alphanine. Please subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. I would greatly appreciate that. And if you could, please click that like button, turn it into a rocket, and send it to the stratosphere. We're still using stratosphere. Shout out to my subscribers. They are the best subscribers on the planet. And thank you so much to the esteemed members. They are the best members in the universe. Now, let's start here. Stellars, I just want to take a look at the Stellars Anchors because in their story of 2021 blog post, they had a lot of very interesting charts. They gave us a lot of very, very good updates. And one of the best updates they could have given us was about the Stellar Anchors network and their increase on how many anchors that they achieved in 2021 and how much of a percentage more they increased those anchors as opposed to the year before. So here we have it, and this little blurb says, it's these connections that flow from each other and expand the utility and power of the network. So the anchors, obviously, but many people might not know what anchors are, but the anchors are extremely significant. Well, let's continue on here. Connecting global on/off ramps, our anchors to the world's financial system. At least 10. That's significant. At least 10 new anchors have joined the Stellar ecosystem, up more than 33% from the previous year. That's very, very good. So now let's take some things into account. Why is this important when it comes to holders of XLM and Lumens? Because the more corridors we have, the more fiat currency we can move. The more fiat currency that moves across XLM, whatever the number might be, would be very good growth, if not exponential growth. So we need more corridors, which means we need more anchors. We need to see healthy growth this year in 2022 when it comes to the increase on how many anchors Stellar has. So they're saying that they had at least 10 new anchors, up more than 33%. Okay, so now we're talking about we need another 17% to get a clean 50%. So let's say we're trying to bring in what, like 13 new anchors maybe? What I would like to see is them double that number. Let's double that number from 10 new anchors this year. Maybe we go for 20 this year. One thing I believe that can act as a catalyst for that is the free advertisement that they received when the information came out about the MoneyGram deal. MoneyGram has a great reputation. They have a lot of power, a lot of pull around the United States and around the world. So when business institutions are hearing that they're utilizing the Stellar blockchain, they're going to ask, hey, what is the system you're using? How can we get involved? Okay. And that's where MoneyGram can step in, or the Stellar Foundation can step in and spread that information. It was the best advertisement that they could ever possibly have at that moment. So just based off of that, maybe we can swing an extra 3 to 4 anchors, in my humble opinion, 3 to 4 anchors in addition to what can be done just with institutions that may not have heard about the MoneyGram deal, okay? But yes, so they were up more than 33% from the previous year. In my humble opinion, you only want to increase on that, obviously. Continue to work hard, continue to do a good job, open up more corridors, bring in more anchors, and by increasing, I don't think it's a lot to ask for an extra 17%. I don't think it's far-fetched. I mean, you guys can tell me in the comment section, what do you think? You think it's far-fetched to bring an extra 17%? And by the end of 2022, we're seeing at least a 50%. I don't think that's too far-fetched. A 50% increase over 2021 with how many anchors we bring in? I don't think that's far-fetched. Okay, so especially like I said, I reiterate, because of the MoneyGram deal, this is one of the reasons why. This is one of the catalysts, I believe, why it may be a little bit more easy to bring in a few more anchors. And what does that mean for you and I? That means that price is going to go parabolic much more easily. So we want more corridors, more fiat flow. We want more capital pouring in. We want more anchors. Okay. And also, those are good steps towards mass adoption. Little by little, you can climb the mountain. It doesn't have to be in giant spurts. Little by little, hold by hold, you climb the V3, all right? Some people out there saying V3. No, we're going to go for a V9. Some people out there, for all you boulderers and climbers out there, I know you. V3. Tranquilo, tranquilo. We're going to start with a V3, okay? Let's go here. So it says, with each new anchor, we open new payment corridors, often in previously untapped regions. That's great. And then we're going to take a little look at this chart here, but we want more anchors. And that's another thing. We want more anchors in those untapped regions. Those untapped regions are going to experience exponential growth. We want all of that money flowing through Stellar. Muy linda, the money that's going to be coming out of Latin America, mi gente. The money that's going to be coming out of Latin America over the next 10 to 20 years is going to be amazing. We want a big chunk of that. Algorand is going to have a big chunk of that. Stellar has been planting roots all over Latin America. Okay, you know about what they're doing in Argentina, right? A lot of other places. We want a big chunk of that money. So now it starts now with planting roots there. Let's double the anchors, in my humble opinion. I say in Latin America, maybe we can see, looking at the chart here, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. They have 7 anchors in Latin America at this particular time. So maybe we go for, let's settle for something that's reasonable, about a 35% increase. Why not? A 35% increase. I don't think that that's far-fetched. With an interoperable system, you got Algorand dominating down there, you got Cello dominating down there. Maybe there's some cross-collaboration. I don't know. I don't think a 35% increase in Latin America is that far-fetched, in my humble opinion. You do a little bit more work, a few more meetings, you close a few more deals. Yeah, I think 35% increase, in my humble opinion. I could be completely wrong. I don't think that's far-fetched in Latin America, in my humble opinion. And then you have how many anchors we're looking at in Africa right now? 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I think I count about 7 anchors in Africa right now. That's a good job, by the way. That's a good job. We want Africa's economy in Africa. If they continue to do well, it's going to just take off like a rocket next 10 to 15 years. They continue to do good development there. We want a chunk of that. We need to plant deep roots in Africa. I want a piece of that African money. I want a piece of that Latin American money. And don't even worry about it. I want all of that American money for sure. So I don't think it's far-fetched, in my humble opinion. There's a lot of competition in Africa, by the way. A lot. Everybody's in Africa right now. But so for Africa, I'm looking at it. Let's see, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. There was 7 anchors in Africa. I don't think it's far-fetched. Let's settle at a reasonable number. I don't think it's far-fetched to ask for maybe a 15% increase in anchors. A 15% in anchors. So maybe we can get how many? Let's see. We got 7 anchors in Africa now. Look, I expect to see. Let's just see some improvement there. I don't think 15% increase is that far-fetched. You guys let me know what you think here. But we definitely want to take a huge chunk of Africa and have that money flowing. And coming out of Europe, it looks like we have 4 anchors in Europe. We can do much better than that. In my humble opinion, we can do much better than that. 4 anchors in Europe. I say we at least double that. Let's get 8. Let's have about 8 anchors in Europe. Europe is a tough battleground right now. We got Algorand in Europe. Algorand's doing amazing. So, of course, we're talking about Stellar here. We got 4 anchors over there. So we got corridors there. You got XRP in Europe. And there's a lot of money on the table in Europe. I want to take Europe. So I win really no matter what, because I hold XRP, XLM, Cello, Algorand, and Hedera. I'm deep in all the banking coins. That's my specialty. That's my interest. But yes, let's increase there. And actually, as a whole, the banking coins could absolutely dominate Europe. They could dominate Europe, and I would love to see that. And there is so much left on the table in Asia. There's so much left on the table. We have 3 anchors in Asia right now. We can do much better. We can do much better. We have to expand that team, Stellar. We have to expand that team. We need to bring in, I don't know if it can't be language barriers. There can't be, there's so many polyglots out there. You bring a couple of polyglots onto your team. Also, there's a lot of polyglots in the business industry that are great at negotiations. We bring a few polyglots onto the teams that are able to communicate with a myriad of different languages, that understand the protocols. You educate them for a while. Just a little bit of money goes a long way. bring these people onto the team. Let's enter into these new fields. Let's bring in new anchors, open new corridors. There can be so much more growth. I know you feel it. I know you know it. And I do as well. I'm looking at this chart here and I can just see it. So let's cover a little bit about anchors. Anchors connect Stellar to the traditional banking system. And we need that because we need that capital to flow from the legacy system into Stellar XLM, into XRP, into Algorand. So you need these anchors. Not only that, it makes it that much more easy to have interoperability and flow of capital back and forth across these banking coin rails once you have CBDCs rolling out, once you have national digital currencies rolling out, or once you have privatized digital currencies for intra-business payments or intra-bank payments, okay? So let's say they have an agnostic currency that they're using only within the banking system, sort of like what SDRs are, then yeah, see, so that's when anchors are the most important. You have that flow already there. The base is already built. It makes everything that much easier. But let's read a little bit about this, become a little bit more educated on what these things are. Today's payment landscape is fragmented. Each region has its own payment scheme, ACH, SEPA, SPEI, etc., and they're not interoperable. That's what I was just saying. Didn't I just say that? That's why we're stuck with the outdated systems like SWIFT. Look at Stellar taking a shot at SWIFT. Let me read that again. That's why we're stuck with outdated systems like SWIFT and the corresponding banking system. Get them, Stellar. Get them. I love that. I love the competitive aggression. They want to get that legacy system out of there. Nobody likes SWIFT, man. To bridge these disparate local payment systems, Stellar makes it possible to represent the world's currencies in the form of digital fiat tokens on one decentralized ledger where they can all interoperate freely. This allows currencies to interoperate not only among each other, but also among all the wallets and apps that leverage Stellar, the Stellar blockchain, to provide users a wide variety of cost-effective financial services. To facilitate moving value from the traditional banking system into Stellar and vice versa, the network relies on anchors, which are regulated financial institutions, money service businesses, or fintech companies that offer one or both of the following component services. Bullet point 1, issue fiat tokens. That's one. Bullet point 2, provide a fiat on/off ramp. These two components can be provided by a single entity or by multiple entities. In the case, in which case, the fiat on and off ramp becomes a reseller of the fiat token issued by the token issuer. Okay, I just want to say this also, that even though I would like to see possibly a 50% increase on the anchors over 2021 and 2022 by the end of 2022. And I think that's reasonable in my humble opinion. I would say anywhere from 35% to a 50% increase in my humble opinion. I think that though that range is doable. We'll see how that works out. I also understand that it's going to be a little bit more difficult to set up these particular anchors because of a lack of regulatory clarity. Regulatory clarity is, oh my goodness, is such a thorn in the neck of the banking coins and holders of the banking coins, because the business institutions and the central banks, the governments, they just don't want to step on the United States' toes. And I get it. I get it. United States holds so much power and they wield it. They wield it like a weapon. So you have to be very, very, very careful when you're dealing with the United States government. So I understand it, but once regulatory clarity is issued, oh my goodness, you're gonna see everything take off, advertisement take off, the increase in anchors take off, those corridors are gonna explode. You're looking at this chart here, look at this chart. In America, do you understand how much of America is there for the taking? Right, I don't see any anchors in the area of, let's just take a look here. I don't think I see anchors in the area of like New Mexico, Arizona, was it Utah's over there, Colorado possibly? Like, we could set up anchors everywhere. We're gonna take all of those areas. XRP is gonna have a piece. XLM is gonna get a piece. We're all in one interoperable team. We're gonna take over. And I would love to see a chart on the XRP anchors. Or maybe I'll look that up next. I would love to see a chart on the Hedera anchors. If MTech is setting up anything like that, or if they have the information to provide. I also would love to see Algorand's, a map of Algorand's anchors, so I can see what this interoperable juggernaut is looking like right now in totality. But right now we have the stellar chart in front of us, stellar diagram in front of us. I say chart, but you guys know what I'm talking about. So we're just taking a look at that. So we have an article here on CoinDesk.com. It says Bank of America says U.S. CBDC would preserve dollar's status as world reserve currency. Haven't I been shouting this from the rooftops that if the banks don't take action, if the United States government, if the Fed doesn't take action and issue a CBDC, it's over for them? Didn't I just say that? And now you have Bank of America saying the same thing. Bank of America says U.S. CBDC would preserve dollar status as world reserve currency. That's because their status as a world reserve currency is highly in question. There's a lot of countries that don't want to utilize the US dollar as the reserve currency anymore. They're cooking up systems to try to replace it. They can do it. There's a lot of burgeoning economies. There's a lot of world powers on the rise, and they can supplant with an agnostic currency or one world currency, however they want to do that. They can supplant the US dollar if they should choose. The US has lost a lot of power, and that's all I'll say about that. But it also says here CBDCs are an inevitable evolution of today's electronic currencies. The bank's analyst said. So there you have it from the banks themselves, their most brilliant minds. I don't understand what the Fed is doing whatsoever, what their strategy is. I don't really think they know what they're doing. I say that with all respect. They don't know what they're doing. They are hurting their own system. While the legacy system is still alive and well, they're hemorrhaging money. They're doing, I say alive and well as far as they're running the system the way they always have. That's what I mean by that. But they're hemorrhaging money, and they're doing a terrible job, especially when it comes to United States being a world power. They're doing a terrible job, in my humble opinion. They need something like a CBDC. They need something that's going to keep the power of the dollar and help the dollar not only have to maintain power, but possibly grow, right? So let's read a little bit here. A U.S. central bank digital currency would differ from the digital money currently available to the public because it's a liability of the U.S. Federal Reserve. We already know that. We've read that many times. Preserving the dollar status as the world's reserve currency, improving cross-border payments, and increasing financial inclusion are all seen as benefits of a U.S. digital currency. Analysts led by Alkesh Shah wrote in the note Monday. The Fed published a discussion paper last week. Potential risk, which could be diminished by CBDC design choices, and it's all about design. That's why they need to sit down with the Stellar Foundation, Ripple, Hedera, Algorand. Bring Algorand. Algorand has close ties with MIT. Bring Algorand in. Bring Sylvia Macaulay in. Some of these geniuses, and they can help you with that particular design and explain and break everything down to you better than anyone can. Okay, but the Fed is very, very, very stubborn. But let's continue on here. Which could be diminished by CBDC design choices include changing the financial sector's market structure by shifting deposits. That's one thing they did say that they were concerned about. Increasing the liquidity risk of the financial system if deposits at commercial banks were converted to a CBDC, and decreasing the efficiency of monetary policy implementation. Monetary policy needs to be updated. This is why we need a few specialists in the government who understand cryptocurrencies, understand blockchain, understand central bank digital currencies, and a myriad of designs. Interoperability also, I don't think that they grasp that fully, what interoperability means. There's a lot of different ways they can patch up these holes, but let's continue on here. Bank of America said key considerations before issuing a CBDC are the need for it to be privacy protected, intermediated, transferable, and identity verified. Stable coins are likely to see an increase in usage. They're back to stable coins. I told you, stable coins opened the door. So this is really good. Stable coins are likely to see an increase in usage in the absence of CBDCs, the bank noted, adding the two largest by market value, Tether and USDC, had a combined market value of around $121 billion as of January 21st. They're going to see exponential growth, by the way, in my humble opinion. Their use as a means of payment is increasing, particularly for cross-border remittances. Didn't I say this before? There is a huge migratory population in the United States, and they're just here to make money and send it back home. that as that population increases and there's more and more people coming to the United States and a lot of different regions of the world, there's large migratory populations moving back and forth all over the world. So yes, USDC is going to, the usage of it is going to increase. US dollar, USDT is going to increase, and all other stable coins that people deem as a viable means of moving their money back and forth is going to increase, of course, because of the very nature of the people that are coming to these developed nations, as well as sending money back to developing nations. In a report published earlier in the month, Bank of America challenged the Bank of England's assertion, interesting, that a UK CBDC would act just as a form of digital cash. It says CBDCs are likely to replace checking accounts as the way in which consumers hold the majority of their funds. I think that's just a lot of foresight on Bank of America's part, and it's good foresight because yes, people will use CBDCs. They will custody their own CBDCs just like cash, So of course, when you have a digital wallet, it acts like a checking account. You're acting as your own bank. So yes, I agree with Bank of America in that, and I disagree with the Bank of England. Very interesting times we live in. So we'll wait to see how all of this continues to work out. But as of right now, the banks are for CBDCs and the banks are pushing for those CBDCs. They understand what's to come. But it's the intermediaries that they have so much power, so much money, so many lobbyists. The intermediaries and the governments are like this. So it's hard to even get a leg up or get some progress moving, but the banks know what's at stake and they want to make more money. They want to save more money. They want to grow in power and in the capital that they can bring in. And they know that this is the way to the future. This is why you have banks like Bank of America stepping forward now. There's an interesting battle taking place. 2022 is going to be interesting. We'll just keep an eye on everything. So now that you have that information, what are you going to do with it? I know what I'm going to do with it. So until next time, let's get to the money.